Welcome to Heaven Voice Today, where the voice of God meets your heart. Every day we bring you powerful gospel reflections, divine messages, and heartfelt stories of faith, hope, and healing. This is not just another Christian channel. This is a sacred space where Jesus Christ speaks to you, personally. If you're looking for guidance, encouragement, or a deeper connection with God's Word, you're in the right place. Let His voice lift you, comfort you, and lead you into His peace. Subscribe now and let heaven speak into your life today. Have you ever found yourself wondering why life feels heavier than it used to? Why a once clear path now feels like a foggy wilderness, where each step feels uncertain and slow? Maybe you've noticed the fire in others growing dim, voices that once roared with conviction now quiet, distant, gone. You've seen it, haven't you? How people begin to fade, not in dramatic rebellion, but in soft, almost imperceptible resignation. They stop believing. They stop expecting. They stop showing up, not just physically, but spiritually. And while you've watched this slow unraveling of faith around you, something inside your soul has stirred. A weight, a tension you can't quite name. You've looked at yourself in the mirror of prayer and wondered, am I next? Am I fading too? But I need you to hear this deep in your spirit. You are not fading. You are being refined. What you're feeling isn't failure. It's friction, the holy resistance that occurs when a soul refuses to conform to a compromised world. You're rubbing up against the systems others have settled into, but your spirit can no longer tolerate. You're awakening to something deeper. And yes, that awakening is painful. It stirs grief in places others only feel celebration. It makes you squirm in rooms where you used to feel at home. That discomfort, it's not regression. It's growth. You're not becoming colder. You're becoming clearer. You're not pulling away out of pride. You're being set apart out of purpose. I've been stripping away the artificial from your life. Why? Because where I'm taking you, only the authentic can remain. This silence you've heard, it's not abandonment, it's investment. My silence has been the soil for your deep roots, not a sign of my absence, but an invitation to deeper foundation. You've lived off yesterday's revelations long enough. Now I'm inviting you to a daily presence, real, raw, honest, and unwavering. No more hype, no more empty routine. You need me, not more noise. And right here, in this sacred middle ground, this is where most people turn back. They get comfortable. They call stagnation contentment. They let memory replace encounter. But you've been called to endure. You were built to finish, formed to last, molded in places no one else saw. There's a grace you carry that others may never understand, and that's okay. It wasn't meant for them. It was designed for you. You've always been different. Even when you tried to blend in, I marked you. Even when you dimmed your light to be accepted, I reignited your fire. You don't fit in because you weren't made to. You weren't made for shallow waters. You were made for communion, deep communion with me. That's why I allowed the shaking. That's why I didn't remove the pain or shield you from the tension. It wasn't punishment. It was preparation. You asked me to use you. You told me, send me, God. And I took you seriously. So I began shaping you in hidden places. I tested your yes when no one was watching. Because what's coming cannot be held by performance. It must be carried by someone who's been forged in fire. You've been through storms that would have broken others, but you're still standing. I saw the tears you cried when no one else did. I heard the whispers of your heart when silence screamed the loudest. You think you've been quiet, but in the spirit, your endurance has thundered. Each time you stayed when you could have walked away, each time you served while your heart bled, each prayer you offered for others when your own soul felt empty, that was worship. And I received it all. Only the chosen stay. Not because they're stronger, but because they've learned to stay connected, to come back, to reach for me even with trembling hands. The end isn't reserved for the flawless. It's reserved For the faithful and beloved, you're still here. That's the proof. That's the testimony. You might feel forgotten. You might even feel like the one who got left behind. But your presence, your persistence, your faith, it tells another story. One that heaven celebrates. One that cannot be erased. You may not see the fruit yet, but it's growing in places you don't even know how to measure. Your obedience in secret is opening doors in the spirit. Your endurance is breaking barriers in the invisible realm. And soon, very soon, the evidence will be visible. So don't turn back. Don't let weariness write your next sentence. Don't let discouragement become your identity. You've come too far and there's more ahead than there is behind. What I'm building in you is not momentary. It's eternal. I'm constructing a legacy through your quiet faithfulness, a testimony that will echo beyond your lifetime. Keep showing up. Keep saying yes. Keep burning with a fire that doesn't need a stage to stay alive. Heaven sees. I see. And your reward is not only coming, it's already in motion. You've stood in the middle of the storm, surrounded by silence, and asked, "Is it me? Am I the one who's fading?" But what you're feeling isn't abandonment. It's a transformation. What feels like weight is actually the presence of purpose pressing in. You're not losing your strength. You're being stripped of what was never meant to remain. Many have quietly drifted away, not out of loud rebellion, but out of quiet resignation. They didn't curse my name, they just stopped calling it. They settled for less than what they were created for. But you felt the tension, you felt the ache, because you're not designed to blend into a compromised comfort. Your soul remembers where it came from, and that memory will not let you settle. This pressure you feel is not your breaking, it's your birthing. The friction, the resistance, the inner restlessness. It's not because you've done something wrong. It's because I'm doing something right in you. You are rubbing up against the illusions others have made peace with. But your spirit won't let you agree with lies that once seemed harmless. You're being recalibrated. There is a spiritual sensitivity awakening inside of you. That's why rooms that once felt safe now make you uneasy. That's why you grieve things others celebrate. You're not broken, you're awake, you're aware. And yes, awareness brings grief, but it also brings truth. It brings clarity. It brings intimacy. You're starting to see with new eyes, hear with new ears, discern with a new depth. And that level of clarity can be lonely, because not everyone is waking up at the same time. But that doesn't mean you're lost. It means you're chosen to lead, not follow. To stand, not shrink. To move forward even if others remain still. You've wondered if my silence was rejection. It wasn't. It was an invitation. I was removing the noise so you could hear me differently. I wasn't punishing you. I was preparing you. Not to perform, but to remain. Not to impress, but to endure. Because where I'm taking you, applause will fade, but presence will remain. You've survived on old revelations long enough. Now I'm calling you to the well again, not to revisit the past, but to drink fresh water. This is the season of new manna, of daily bread. You don't need more noise. You need more of me. This is the dividing line, the sacred threshold. This is where many turn back, not because they stopped loving me, but because they stopped trusting my process. They find rhythms that feel safe and they settle. But safety is not your calling. Comfort is not your inheritance. You were made to walk by fire, to live by spirit, to follow even when the path disappears beneath your feet. You carry something sacred, something that cannot coexist with pretense. That's why I've been confronting the artificial in your life. Not to shame you, but to set you free, to remove what's shallow and strengthen what's true. I've been shaping you in silence so you can carry my sound. Most won't understand your journey. That's okay, they weren't supposed to. What you carry is not for the crowd, it's for the remnant. You've endured heartbreak, isolation, disappointment, and delay. But even in your worst moments, you kept your eyes lifted. That's what I see. That's what I honor. So lift your head again. The journey is not over. It's only just beginning. And now, I need you to recognize how far you've come. You're not who you used to be. Even your tears have changed. They're deeper now, more sincere, born not out of despair but out of yearning, out of surrender. This is spiritual maturity taking root. Your faith is no longer based on feelings. It's becoming anchored in covenant. You are entering a new rhythm, not frantic, not desperate, but firm and faithful. A steady obedience, a consistent yes. And this is what I'm after. I don't need a moment of passion. I need a life of persistence. The power of your journey is not in the peak moments. It's in the daily returning, the hourly surrender, the minute-by-minute alignment with my will. So breathe and step forward again. Not because everything is easy, but because you know who walks beside you. My presence is not a promise for later. It is your strength for now. But there's more I want you to understand. The preparation hasn't been just for your strength, but for your sensitivity. You've been trained to discern, to recognize my movement in subtle shifts, not just in signs and wonders. This isn't just about miracles, it's about maturity, about becoming a people who can carry my presence without requiring emotional fireworks to feel close. You are becoming that kind of person, one who is steady, grounded, rooted in me. When I call you chosen, it's not a badge of status, it's a mantle of service. It's not about prestige, it's about posture. The weight of being chosen doesn't mean applause, it means alignment. You are being aligned with heaven's frequency, called to live by a rhythm that contradicts the noise of this world. To be chosen is to be pulled out from the ordinary for a divine assignment. It means you don't get to hide. You don't get to bow to fear. You get to step forward, even when your knees shake. That's what you've done. Over and over again. You've said yes in rooms where no one applauded. You've given when it hurt. You've worshipped when it felt like your voice barely had strength, and that shook heaven. That kind of unseen faithfulness resounds through eternity. Your faith hasn't just endured, it has multiplied. And now I am rewarding that. I'm unlocking what was once hidden. I'm releasing what has been withheld, not as a prize for perfection, but as a gift for perseverance. You didn't earn this with performance. You positioned yourself through obedience. Your quiet yes became a thunderous agreement in the spirit. And now the spiritual landscape around you is shifting to reflect that. You don't need to be louder. You need to be clearer. Not more visible, but more aligned. Bold in silence. Bold in submission. Bold in me. Your life is not about doing more. It's about becoming more aware of my presence. This is your fruit-bearing season, and it won't come from striving. It will come from abiding. So do not hold back. Do not second-guess the door I am opening. Do not let your past whisper lies to your future. You are ready, not because you feel ready, but because I say so. And my word defines your seasons. This next door isn't a test, it's a testimony. It will reveal to you what I've already confirmed in heaven. You belong here. You are sent, equipped, and prepared. You are no longer surviving. You are releasing. You are no longer asking for permission. You are walking in the authority I've entrusted to you. And because you stayed, because you endured, because you trusted me when you could have turned away, you now step into clarity. This is more than progress. This is promise fulfilled. The foundation has held. And now the house will rise. You are being positioned, not just for impact, but for endurance. I'm not releasing you into a flash of favor. I'm setting you up for longevity, for influence that doesn't fade when attention shifts, for leadership that isn't swayed by applause or absence. You are being built to last. This is why the refinement has been intense. This is why the shaking was necessary. Because what I'm placing in your hands requires a purity of heart, a stability of mind, and a rootedness in spirit that only comes through fire. I was not trying to harm you, I was anchoring you. The assignments coming will stretch you, but they will not break you. Because your roots go deep now. Your strength isn't surface level, it's spiritual. Your confidence isn't based on circumstances, it's born of communion. And this This place where you feel unseen, misunderstood, maybe even underestimated. This has been the forge. This has been where your real strength was born. When no one saw, when no one clapped, when no one checked, and I did. I saw. I counted every tear, recorded every whispered yes. So now step into this next chapter, not as someone chasing significance, but as someone embodying surrender. You are not trying to be great. You are being faithful, and that is what heaven calls greatness. There is something sacred about a person who keeps saying yes even after silence. Something powerful about one who continues to show up, worship, serve, and believe, especially when nothing around them validates the effort. And that's you. You've continued, not because it was easy, but because it was right. That persistence, that is what heaven crowns. I know you've had days when you felt like no one saw the weight you carried, moments when you were surrounded by people, yet still felt unseen. But I saw. I felt the ache behind your smile, the fatigue behind your consistency, the faith behind your quiet prayers. Not one act of endurance went unnoticed. You were not wasting time in the waiting. You were being formed. You were becoming something unshakable. Every time you stayed when others left, every moment you worshipped while broken, that shaped your spirit into something pure and resilient. What you thought was delay was actually deep formation. What you called stillness, I called setup. Now comes the shift, the alignment, the open doors that don't just bring new seasons. They reveal the fruit of the quiet yeses. You've been in the soil long enough. You've been hidden, watered by tears, refined in pressure. And now the soil is breaking. The sprout is emerging. It's time. But with this unveiling comes a need for focus. You must steward your peace like treasure. Guard your spirit with intentional boundaries. Not everything deserves your attention. Not every voice deserves access. I'm calling you into sharper discernment, into cleaner rhythms, into divine clarity. You will begin to feel it. The grace to say no without guilt, the strength to walk away from distractions, the wisdom to stop explaining yourself to people who were never assigned to your next chapter. This is maturity. This is the fruit of fire. Do not be surprised when I start removing more. Some losses will feel like subtraction, but they're divine extraction. I am pulling out what no longer fits your alignment. What once served you now slows you. What once covered you now confines you. You're shedding the skin of a former season because the mantle on your life has grown. You are no longer who you were. The old tools won't carry the new oil. The old pace won't sustain the new weight, and the old wounds, they no longer get to narrate your identity. I am declaring healing over those places. Restoration where shame once lived. Freedom where fear once spoke. There's a new language forming in you, a language of authority, a cadence of confidence, not in your own strength, but in mine. You are learning to speak not from pain, but from power, to pray not from desperation, but from declaration, to move not from fear, but from faith. You are being trained to walk differently, to see differently, to lead from presence, not pressure, to lead from depth, not display, to trust that you don't have to strive to be significant. You already are because I say so. There are assignments being delivered to your spirit. You will begin to feel a fresh urgency, an awareness of what's sacred. Some things that used to entertain you will now agitate you. Some rooms you once pursued will lose their pull. That's not pride, that's proof. You've changed. You're being drawn to the sound of heaven over the sound of hype, to my word over noise, to stillness over striving. This is how the chosen walk, not just in inspiration, but in alignment, in rhythm, in revelation. And yes, there will be days when you still feel overwhelmed, but now you know where to run. Now you've learned how to hear me in the silence. You've been taught by the quiet, and because of that, you will not miss my move. You are tuned in. You've spent long enough wondering when it would happen. This is not the time to ask again if I will. This is the time to prepare like I already have. Set your table, ready your heart. Clear the clutter. Position yourself. Because what's coming is not just a moment, it's a movement. And it begins now. There is more to come. So breathe. Not because it all makes sense yet, but because you are no longer carrying the weight alone. Let go, not of responsibility, but of self-reliance. I never asked you to carry what only grace can sustain. I am bringing rhythm back to your spirit. The rhythm of walking with me. The rhythm of trust, not tension. The rhythm of sonship, not striving. You are not called to hustle for what I've already given you access to. You are called to walk in it, to move through life with the ease of someone who knows they're not performing, they're abiding. This is the season of returning to wonder, returning to simplicity, returning to the joy of knowing me without needing to impress me. Your prayers don't need polish. Your worship doesn't need a platform. Your faith doesn't need volume. It just needs to be real. And when it is, when you bring me the version of yourself that doesn't have it all figured out, I meet you with more than answers. I meet you with myself. And in me is everything. Peace that surpasses, joy that strengthens, wisdom that stabilizes, love that heals. You don't have to navigate this alone. Let me lead you again, one moment at a time, one decision at a time. You've asked for strategies. I'm giving you steps, not leaps, just steps. Because faith isn't always loud. Sometimes it's simply continuing when quitting feels easier. So today, just come back. Come back to presence. Come back to rest. Come back to truth. Come back to who you are when no one's looking. That's the space where I dwell. That's the space where revival begins. You haven't missed it. You haven't gone too far. You haven't failed too deeply. I'm still here, still waiting, still ready. And this time you're not coming back to start over. You're coming back to pick up where we left off, with more clarity, more maturity, and more grace than ever before. Let me show you what restoration truly looks like. Restoration is not just about healing what's been broken. It's about redeeming what was stolen. Your joy, your peace, your passion, none of it is beyond recovery. I restore in layers. I restore in fullness. I restore not just to what was, but to what should have always been. You will dream again. Not small, safe dreams, but holy, heaven-breathed ones. You will believe again, not because everything is perfect, but because your heart is whole. You will build again, not from exhaustion, but from overflow. So rise, not in haste, but in hope. Rise not to prove anything, but to partner with everything I've already spoken. And let each step you take be a declaration. I'm not who I was. I'm not who I feared I'd become. I am who He says I am. This is your moment. This is your renewal. This is your sacred return. There is more to come. So breathe, not because it all makes sense yet, but because you are no longer carrying the weight alone. Let go, not of responsibility, but of self-reliance. I never asked you to carry what only grace can sustain. I am bringing rhythm back to your spirit, the rhythm of walking with me, the rhythm of trust, not tension, the rhythm of sonship, not striving. You are not called to hustle for what I've already given you access to. You are called to walk in it, to move through life with the ease of someone who knows they're not performing, they're abiding. This is the season of returning to wonder, returning to simplicity, returning to the joy of knowing me without needing to impress me. Your prayers don't need polish. Your worship doesn't need a platform. Your faith doesn't need volume. It just needs to be real. And when it is, when you bring me the version of yourself that doesn't have it all figured out, I meet you with more than answers. I meet you with myself. And in me is everything. Peace that surpasses, joy that strengthens, wisdom that stabilizes, love that heals. You don't have to navigate this alone. Let me lead you again, one moment at a time, one decision at a time. You've asked for strategies. I'm giving you steps, not leaps, just steps. Because faith isn't always loud. Sometimes it's simply continuing when quitting feels easier. So today, just come back. Come back to presence. Come back to rest. Come back to truth. Come back to who you are when no one's looking. That's the space where I dwell. That's the space where revival begins. You haven't missed it. You haven't gone too far. You haven't failed too deeply. I'm still here. Still waiting. Still ready. And this time, you're not coming back to start over. You're coming back to pick up where we left off, with more clarity, more maturity, and more grace than ever before. Now I want you to begin walking differently. Not because your circumstances have changed yet, but because you have. Something has shifted. Something has broken open. Something has ignited. And that something is you. The fire that once flickered has now become a flame. You're not waiting for power. You are walking in it. You are not a bystander to your story. You are not hoping for the best. You are carrying something sacred. You are stepping into alignment with your assignment. And that alignment will unlock momentum. Not hype, but holy acceleration. Not frantic movement, but purposeful progress. I have been whispering strategies into your spirit. I've been nudging your heart in specific directions. Those ideas that won't leave you, that quiet conviction, that subtle push to write, to speak, to build, to bless, to reach, that's not coincidence. That's me. I'm activating the next phase of your purpose. So begin. Begin like someone who knows they were chosen. Move forward like someone who knows they're not alone. This is not about trying harder. It's about trusting deeper. It's not about making it happen. It's about moving in step with my spirit. Do not despise small beginnings. Do not roll your eyes at the simplicity of obedience. Some of the most powerful miracles begin with what looks like a small yes, a quiet start, a seed in soil. I'm calling you to plant that seed, to trust that I will water it, that I will send the sun in the season, write the vision, send the message, make the call, pray over the idea, fast for clarity, take the next step, even if your hands tremble. I never said faith would always feel easy. I said it would always be worth it. Your life is not on pause. It's being positioned. You are not stuck. You are being stirred. You are not waiting on favor. It's already flowing toward you. You just have to agree with it. This is your invitation to walk in bold obedience, to align your habits with your hope, to speak life over what looks dry, to believe again when cynicism tries to creep in, to keep showing up for the altar, even when the fire isn't visible yet. I am forming patterns in you now that will sustain what I'm releasing next. I'm teaching you to build a life that doesn't just inspire, but endures, that doesn't just shine, but stands. Your consistency is a weapon. Your discipline is worship. Your integrity is a shield. These quiet daily choices, they are not just preparation, they are partnership. They are how heaven moves through earth. And no, not everyone will understand. Some will question your pace. Some will challenge your fire. Some will walk away from your side. But let them. You are not following people. You are following purpose. You are not building for popularity. You are building for permanence. Your life is becoming a message. One of grace, one of grit, one of glory. And it will not be silenced. It will not be wasted. It will not return void. So breathe deep, square your shoulders, set your face like flint. The road ahead may be narrow, but it ends in glory. And I'll be walking every step beside you. And when the resistance comes, and it will, remember who sent you. Remember that this wasn't your idea. This was your assignment. Remember that obedience often feels costly before it feels fruitful. Remember that my favor is not a feeling. It's a foundation. The enemy will try to distract you, discourage you, delay you. He'll try to convince you you're disqualified. But he has no authority over what I have authored. You are not standing on shaky ground. You are standing on my word. And my word never fails. You're not the only one shifting. I'm also aligning things around you. Relationships, resources, realities. I'm making sure what surrounds you matches what I've placed within you. And yes, that may mean more shaking, but don't fear the tremble. The shaking is not to scatter you. It's to separate you from what no longer belongs. So prepare. Prepare not with anxiety, but with anticipation. Prepare like someone who knows something is coming, because it is. Prepare like Noah, who built while others laughed. Prepare like Elijah, who heard the sound of rain before the cloud appeared. The release is not random. It's revealed to the ready. You've heard my voice in the fire. You've endured the silence in the wilderness. Now it's time to hear me in the stillness of your becoming. There is a shift that's happening, not in your surroundings, but within you. And that inner transformation is birthing a deeper revelation, who you truly are in me. You've spent long seasons shaping yourself to fit expectations that I never placed on you. You've altered your voice to sound acceptable. You've quieted your convictions to blend in. You've filtered your emotions to keep from feeling like a burden. But I never asked you to be palatable. I called you to be pure. The version of you I formed was never meant to be hidden behind performance. You've grown weary trying to hold everything together while falling apart behind the scenes. But now, I'm calling you into wholeness, into oneness. Not just with me, but within yourself. You don't need to keep apologizing for being sensitive. Sensitivity is not weakness. It's spiritual awareness. It's what allows you to perceive what others ignore. It's what keeps your heart tender in a world that rewards numbness. Your sensitivity is sacred. I am silencing every voice that told you you were too much, too emotional, too deep, too complicated. I formed you with intention. I fashioned your heart with depth because you were always meant to carry weight, and only those with deep wells can pour deeply. You've been navigating battles no one else could see. Internal wars between who you used to be and who I'm revealing you to be. You've questioned your stability. But the truth is, you're not breaking, you're awakening. Awakening to truth, awakening to grace, awakening to the identity I've always seen. I've never called you average. I've never measured you by culture's scale. I've never required you to strive for love I freely give. The voice that critiques your pace, your emotions, your process, that is not me. That is performance. And today, I am dismantling it. You don't need to earn your place in my presence. You already have it. You don't need to rehearse strength. I see beauty in your brokenness. You don't need to edit your soul to make others comfortable. Your realness is where my glory rests. I'm reintroducing you to the real you. Not the image you've built to survive, not the version you present to avoid rejection, but the you that weeps freely in worship. The you that feels me in silence. The you that prays even when the words don't come. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not too far. You are exactly where I want you. Present, tender, open. This is the posture I can fill. This is the heart I can inhabit. This is the space where healing begins. There are parts of your story you've buried in shame, memories you've tried to erase, regrets you revisit with regret. But I go there, now not to punish but to purify, not to reopen wounds but to restore what they tried to steal. I am not intimidated by your history. I was there. I saw what you carried. I know the weight of the nights you didn't think you'd survive. And I say, you did. You're still here, still standing, still reaching, still mine. Let me into the places you've tried to keep safe. The corners of your soul where disappointment still whispers. The rooms filled with silence and suspicion. Let me sit with you there. Let my voice become louder than the lies. You've believed that transformation had to be visible to be valid, but real change often starts in unseen places, in the rewiring of thoughts, in the quiet surrender, in the holy decisions no one claps for, and those are happening in you right now. So don't rush, don't perform, don't panic, just be. Just Sit. Just breathe. Let me love the version of you that you've been afraid to expose. That is where revival begins. And I'm not done yet. I'm not finished with the healing, the unveiling, the resurrection of all that was buried under performance and pain. There are still layers to peel back, still lies to unlearn, still truths to fully digest. But none of that intimidates me. I'm not overwhelmed by your process. I'm present in it. What you feel today is not just release, it's reinstatement. It's the reinstating of your voice, your vision, your authority. You've been silencing yourself to keep the peace, but now I'm calling you to speak from a place of truth. You've been dimming your light so others could shine, but now I'm commanding you to radiate, because darkness cannot remain where your authenticity steps in. And yes, there will be days where the old patterns try to call you back, moments where fear tries to masquerade as wisdom, but you will know the difference now, because you've tasted truth, you've experienced freedom, and that experience cannot be undone. You are not returning to the former version of yourself. You are emerging as the real one, the one who is not swayed by applause or absence, the one who is rooted in purpose and guided by peace, the one who is anchored in identity and fueled by presence. So when they ask, "What changed?" you won't say, "I learned more." You'll say, "I remembered who I am." And from that place, watch what I build. Watch what I restore. Watch how fast what was lost comes running back multiplied. This is what happens when someone dares to come home to themselves in me. Welcome back. You never truly left. But now you're awake, and the world needs the awakened you. Now that your identity has been reclaimed, it's time to rise in the full authority of it. The awakening was not just emotional, it was intentional. You've been realigned not just to remember who you are, but to reclaim what belongs to you. And I'm calling you to live like someone who knows they've been reactivated. You've walked through fire and emerged with a fragrance of faith. You've endured storms that could have destroyed you. And now you carry a strength that hums quietly but powerfully under the surface. That strength was not forged in applause, it was forged in adversity. And it's time to let that strength speak. I'm sending you into this next season not just to survive, but to shift things. Your presence will carry authority. Your words will carry weight. Your prayers will carry precision. This is not just about stepping out, this is about stepping in, into rooms that were locked, into places you thought were too holy for you, into assignments that once scared you. You are ready, not because everything is figured out, but because you have learned to hear me in the chaos, because you've been broken and still chose to worship, because you have learned the rhythm of my spirit and you follow it. You are about to speak to atmospheres and watch them align. You're about to lay hands on dreams that were dying and see them live. You're about to pray bold prayers not because you're confident in yourself, but because you're confident in me. I am commissioning you now to go. Go with fire, go with reverence, go with compassion, go with power. Do not minimize your impact because you are still healing. I have always used the healing ones to bring healing. I have always partnered with the surrendered ones to release supernatural impact. Yes, it will feel risky. Yes, fear will try to follow. But you're not being led by fear, you're being led by faith. You are no longer waiting for clarity to feel comfortable. You are moving because my voice is enough, and I will confirm my word. With signs, with alignment, with open doors, with divine appointments, with supernatural resources. You will look back and see how every delay was design, every pause was preservation, every no was protection, every silence was strategy. So step forward like someone who is trusted by heaven. Step like someone who knows favor surrounds them. Step like someone who carries a legacy, not just for themselves, but for those coming after. You are a forerunner, a bridge, a builder. Don't shrink now. Don't second guess. Don't rehearse the lies you've already renounced. Move, speak, lead, build, release. Because this is the season of movement. Movement without striving. Movement without panic. Movement rooted in peace. Anchored in presence. Fueled by surrender. You've asked for the next instruction. This is it. Begin. So when the ground begins to shake again, you won't retreat. You'll remember that the shaking is not punishment. It is proof that the ground beneath you is making room for something new. Heaven is not just watching your movement, it's backing it. Angels are being assigned to assist your obedience. Doors are being carved out in walls that previously looked unmovable. This is not just about your growth. It's about the impact of your yes. Your yes has ripple effects. It awakens people. It shifts territories. It calls things into order. That's why the enemy has fought you so fiercely. Not because of where you've been, but because of what your obedience will unlock. So write the book, launch the ministry, speak the word, build the thing, mentor the ones behind you, pray bold prayers over your city, fast not just for yourself but for your region, believe not just for survival but for revival. I am not only reviving your faith, I'm resurrecting your vision, and I will pour out clarity as you move, not before, but while. That's how faith works. That's how waters part. That's how fire falls. Not when you think you're ready, but when you trust that I already am. You are not entering this next stretch as a wanderer. You are entering as a sent one, marked, called, empowered, and trusted. Yes, trusted. I trust you with this fire. I trust you with this season. I trust you with this weight of glory, and I will sustain you. You won't burn out. You'll burn bright. You won't fizzle. You'll flourish. You won't walk alone. You'll walk aware. Because you carry more than potential now. You carry presence. Now that you've remembered who you are, it's time to begin moving like it. You don't need to wait for more clarity. You've already received confirmation. You don't need another sign to start. The very breath in your lungs, the stirring in your heart, and the fire in your bones are all signs that I've awakened you for this exact moment. You've been anointed not just to believe, but to build. Not just to survive, but to shift atmospheres. Not just to carry my word in your heart, but to release it with your mouth. I'm not asking you to feel ready. I'm asking you to be willing. The shift you feel is not imaginary. It's spiritual. I've been aligning your desires with your destiny, sharpening your discernment, deepening your hunger. And now that you've come through the fire, you carry what cannot be bought, faked, or imitated. You carry oil, produced in crushing, in prayer, in hidden surrender. That oil is the evidence of your preparation, and that oil is what I'm about to pour out through your life. You will begin to notice it everywhere, in your words, in your prayers, in your presence. You'll walk into rooms and atmospheres will change. You'll speak and hearts will soften. You'll pray and things will shift. Not because of volume, but because of the weight you carry. I'm not calling you to impress. I'm calling you to release. Release the word. Release the vision. Release the strategy. Release the blueprint I've been whispering to you in the quiet. And yes, I know it feels costly. I know it feels risky. But faith is spelled R-I-S-K. Faith is obedience before evidence. It's saying yes while you're still shaking. It's building the ark when there's no rain in sight. It's preparing the oil when others are sleeping. Don't measure your readiness by public affirmation. You weren't called by people, you were called by me. And I have already gone before you. I've already made a way. I've already placed provision on the path. You don't need to strive for visibility. You just need to steward the assignment. So, build it, write it, say it, start it, pray it, preach it, begin it. Not because you're trying to prove something, but because you finally realized you don't have to prove anything. What I placed inside you is holy. It's eternal. It's generational. Your obedience will break cycles. Your surrender will open gates. Your yes will unlock doors you never knocked on. I'm not just answering your prayers. I'm answering the prayers of those before you through you. This is what divine alignment looks like. This is what prophetic legacy feels like. You are a bridge between what was and what will be. You are a vessel for transformation. You are a carrier of fire. So don't hold back. Don't shrink. Don't wait for the applause. You've been approved in private. Now you will release in public. And as you do, I will send support. I will send aligned relationships. I will send provision. I will open the exact doors you need, some of which you don't even know exist yet. You won't have to campaign or manipulate. You'll simply have to walk in the direction of your yes. This is more than momentum. It's divine movement. And it begins now. You've said yes, and now you stand on holy ground. Not because the location changed, but because your posture did. Your yes reshaped the atmosphere. Your obedience drew heaven's attention. And now, with your spirit awake and your soul surrendered, I can show you what I've been preparing all along. I'm teaching you how to live in flow, not force. You don't have to manufacture outcomes or strive for visibility. Favor doesn't chase noise, it rests on alignment, and you are in alignment. I'm synchronizing your spirit to heaven's rhythm. You will begin to feel it even in the smallest things: conversations, choices, discernment. What felt cloudy will feel clear. What felt heavy will feel holy. I am expanding your capacity, not to do more, but to carry more. You're not just stepping into new rooms, you're stewarding new realms. You're not just pursuing vision, you're embodying revelation. And revelation always comes with responsibility. This is why the shaking had to come first, because I refuse to elevate what isn't established. I am teaching you to walk with authority without arrogance, to speak with clarity without control, to move with fire without frenzy. You were not created to impress. You were designed to impact. And impact flows not from perfection, but from presence. You are now walking into what others will call sudden, but you'll know it was sacred preparation. What they see as overnight was built in years of private surrender. What they'll call a platform, I call a prayer answered in secret. You didn't climb here, you yielded here, and that's why it's sustainable. So as I open doors, remain rooted. Don't let access distract you from intimacy. Don't let influence compromise your identity. You don't need to shout to shift atmospheres. Your stillness is soaked in spirit. Your words, when spoken in alignment, carry weight beyond volume, and yes, warfare may increase, but so will wonder. The enemy doesn't attack the empty, he attacks the anointed. He doesn't fight potential, he fights release. But remember, his attack is not proof of failure, it's confirmation of movement. So don't retreat. Don't flinch. Don't return to silence. Lift your head, steady your hands, anchor your heart, and walk. You are not fragile. You are fortified. You are not forgotten. You are favored. You are not disqualified. You are designated. Now move like it. But hear this too. Your movement is not meant to be mechanical. It is spiritual. It is holy. It is deliberate. Every step you take in faith, I match with favor. Every yes you offer in surrender, I match with supernatural supply. You will not run out. You will not run dry. You will not be left behind. I am with you. You feared failing in front of others. But now I'm teaching you to fail forward in me. Even if you stumble, I will catch you. Even if you misstep, I will realign you. Because this path is not about perfection, it's about proximity. I would rather you walk slowly with me than run fast without me. This is your deep reset. This is your fresh anointing. This is where fear loses its grip and boldness is born. This is not your undoing. It is your unleashing. You are not standing at the end. You are standing at the edge of extraordinary, and I trust you to carry it well. Because you didn't just want my gifts, you wanted me, and I never ignore hunger. I never despise the weak yes. I never abandon the one who lingers when others leave. So stand tall, not in pride, but in purpose. Speak boldly, not from ego, but from encounter. Build intentionally, not for applause, but for eternal impact. The world will feel what you carry, and what you carry came from fire. Let that fire burn. Let it guide you, purify you, propel you, and let every step from here on out declare this truth: I am chosen, I am trusted, I will stay. Let me take you deeper into this moment. For your yes is not just a decision, it's a declaration in the unseen realm. Every time you chose me over convenience, every time you obeyed when it hurt, every time you remained, when walking away felt easier, you were building something eternal. You weren't just surviving, You were becoming. This is what heaven celebrates. This is what the enemy fears. Not your perfection, but your consistency. Not your eloquence, but your endurance. Not your visibility, but your intimacy. Because in the secret place you were formed, not with human validation, but with divine breath. And now I'm calling you to remember that breath, that holy exhale that carries peace into pressure, power into passivity, presence into every step. You are not merely advancing, you are awakening territories long dormant. You are not just fulfilling destiny, you are igniting legacy. Your yes is causing ripple effects in your family, in your bloodline, in your region, in generations you will never meet. That's why the warfare intensified. That's why the shaking came, because the enemy tried to distract you from the seed you were carrying. But you did not abort it. You nurtured it in silence. You watered it with tears. You protected it with prayer. And now, I am breathing on it. More is coming. But not all at once. I give according to capacity, not curiosity. So keep making space. Keep clearing clutter. Keep saying no to what's good so you're available for what's God. Let your schedule reflect surrender. Let your priorities reveal purpose. Because I am not just bringing you into a new season, I'm making you into a new standard, a new kind of leader, a new kind of voice, a new kind of vessel, not shaped by culture but by consecration. And yes, it will cost, but not more than it will give. Yes, it will stretch, but not more than it will expand. Yes, it will challenge, but not more than it will change everything. I am raising you up, not as a celebrity but as a sent one, not to chase fame, but to carry flame, not to compete, but to complete the assignment with joy. And every time you feel like quitting, I will remind you why you started. You didn't choose this, it chose you, and I chose you for it. So breathe deep, stand strong, stay the course. The world is waiting on your obedience. There's a reason I've been calling you to stillness, a reason I've been inviting you to slow down, not to lose momentum, but to recognize where true strength comes from. You've spent seasons doing so much for me that you nearly forgot how to be with me. But now I'm restoring the simplicity of our connection. Before strategy comes surrender. Before acceleration comes alignment. Before revelation comes relationship. You've asked for clarity and I've given you myself. You've asked for direction and I've given you presence. This is not withholding, it's wisdom, because what's coming will not be sustained by spiritual hype. It will be upheld by deep roots. And roots don't grow in noise, they grow in stillness. They grow in the quiet moments where your soul meets mine without agenda, where your tears become prayers, where your silence becomes sanctuary. This is why I'm calling you to reprioritize your mornings, to offer me the first moments of your day, not out of ritual, but out of reverence. I want your attention before the world demands it. I want your heart before you carry the weight of the day. Your first gaze should not be your screen, but your Savior. It may feel small at first, 10 minutes, then 20. But this time is not about quantity, it's about quality. One whisper from my spirit can shift your entire day. One moment of alignment can unlock peace that no productivity could manufacture. And in these sacred moments, I'm not asking you to perform. I'm asking you to be present. Bring me your real self, the joyful you, the confused you, the grieving you, the growing you. I don't need perfection. I long for proximity. Let prayer become your rhythm again. Not a chore, but a lifeline. Not a formality, but a fountain. Let your soul exhale before you inhale the day. Let me become your anchor, not your afterthought. And return to my word. Not to study for knowledge, but to listen for my voice. Every verse is a doorway. Every passage, a window. I'm not hiding in the text. I'm revealing myself through it. Read slowly. Let truth marinate. Ask questions. Wait for answers. This is not academic. It's relational. Let scripture read you, not just the other way around. Highlight what convicts you. Journal what moves you. Meditate on what comforts you. Hide it in your heart, not just so you can quote it, but so you can live it. Because this next season will require more than belief. It will require behavior. Faith that doesn't shape lifestyle is incomplete. I'm not just after your moments of worship, I'm after your rhythms, your eating, your resting, your planning, your relating. I want to infuse your ordinary with my extraordinary. That means boundaries. That means honesty. That means letting go of what drains you. That means refusing to numb what I'm trying to heal. You don't need more distractions, you need more discernment. You've asked me to open doors, and I will. But will your lifestyle sustain the weight of those doors? Will your habits uphold what your prayers unlock? I'm preparing you for longevity, not just launch. So let me walk with you through the mundane. Invite me into your routine. Speak with me while you drive, while you clean, while you work. I'm not far. I never have been. I'm in every breath, every pause, every in-between. Your life is your altar, your obedience, your offering, and I see it all, every unnoticed act of love, every hidden moment of integrity, every private battle you surrendered instead of suppressing. These are the things heaven honors, and as you cultivate this daily rhythm, you'll notice something shift. Less anxiety, more awareness, less striving, more sensitivity. Your spirit will become attuned. Your decisions will become sharper. Your vision will become clearer. Because when you live from presence, you live in peace. When you prioritize me, you position yourself for power. Not explosive performance, but enduring grace. This is how revival begins, not just in crowds, but in kitchens. Not just in pulpits, but in prayer closets. Not just through sermons, but through schedules surrendered. Let's build this together. A life of rhythm, a life of rest, a life that says, I don't just visit God, I walk with Him. And that walk starts today. Let me go even deeper with you now. What you're carrying is weighty, and the season you've entered demands clarity, not just passion. I'm not only calling you into more, I'm refining your motives for the more. I'm purifying ambition until it becomes mission. I'm stretching your influence until it becomes intercession. I'm stripping performance until only presence remains. There will be moments when everything seems still on the outside, but chaotic within. That's not confusion, it's construction. I'm rebuilding you from the ground up, removing the last remnants of fear-based identity and replacing them with covenant certainty. You are not tolerated in my kingdom. You are trusted, and that trust is not casual. It's covenantal. It was formed in fire, tested in silence, and sealed in surrender. That's why you walk with a new grace. That's why the old labels no longer stick. That's why what drained you before no longer has power. You've been upgraded not by human hands, but by heaven's decree. So don't try to fit into the mold I broke you out of. Don't try to be understood by those not assigned to your journey. You weren't called to popularity, you were called to purity. And purity will always attract both favor and warfare. You will be misunderstood and still move. You will be misjudged and still minister. You will be mistaken and still multiply. Because your validation doesn't come from applause, it comes from me. I'm sending new voices to confirm what you've only dared to whisper in prayer. I'm bringing divine connections that won't compete with you but cover you. People who won't just celebrate your wins, but sustain you in your weary days. Aligned help is part of the promise. You were never meant to carry this alone. And through it all, remember, your stillness will be your strategy. Your peace will be your posture. Your joy will be your warfare. For in this new place, the battles will look different. You will no longer fight just to survive. You will fight to establish. You will no longer war to prove. You will war from a place of proof already written. Yes, the enemy sees what you carry, but so do I. And what I placed inside you is greater than any weapon formed against you. It will not prosper. It cannot win. Because my word over you is still active, still unfolding, still enough. So lift your head, square your shoulders, plant your feet, and declare with every step, I was chosen for this. I was born for this, and I will not back down. Not now. Not ever. Let me take you deeper into this moment. For your yes is not just a decision, it's a declaration in the unseen realm. Every time you chose me over convenience, every time you obeyed when it hurt, every time you remained when walking away felt easier, you were building something eternal. You weren't just surviving, you were becoming. This is what heaven celebrates. This is what the enemy fears. Not your perfection, but your consistency. Not your eloquence, but your endurance. Not your visibility, but your intimacy. Because in the secret place you were formed, not with human validation, but with divine breath. And now I'm calling you to remember that breath. That holy exhale that carries peace into pressure, power into passivity, presence into every step. You are not merely advancing, you are awakening territories long dormant. You are not just fulfilling destiny, you are igniting legacy. Your yes is causing ripple effects in your family, in your bloodline, in your region, in generations you will never meet. That's why the warfare intensified. That's why the shaking came. Because the enemy tried to distract you from the seed you were carrying, but you did not abort it. You nurtured it in silence. You watered it with tears. You protected it with prayer. And now, I am breathing on it. More is coming, but not all at once. I give according to capacity, not curiosity. So keep making space. Keep clearing clutter. Keep saying no to what's good so you're available for what's God. Let your schedule reflect surrender. Let your priorities reveal purpose. Because I am not just bringing you into a new season. I'm making you into a new standard. A new kind of leader. A new kind of voice. A new kind of vessel. Not shaped by culture, but by consecration. And yes, it will cost, but not more than it will give. Yes, it will stretch, but not more than it will expand. Yes, it will challenge, but not more than it will change everything. I am raising you up, not as a celebrity, but as a sent one. Not to chase fame, but to carry flame. Not to compete, but to complete the assignment with joy. And every time you feel like quitting, I will remind you why you started. You didn't choose this, it chose you. And I chose you for it, so breathe deep, stand strong, stay the course. The world is waiting on your obedience. The wait is over, and the release is here. Not a slow trickle, not a hesitant shift, but a divine, forceful outpouring from heaven, tailor-made for this moment. Everything I've been preparing in secret is now stepping into the light, not because you've strived hard enough, but because you've surrendered deeply enough. This release isn't your reward for performance. It's the fruit of your perseverance. You've waited with expectation. You've endured with humility. You've wrestled with silence and held fast to faith. And now, the atmosphere around your life is beginning to respond. Not because something is changing outside of you, but because everything has been realigned within you. Heaven never responds to noise. It responds to alignment. You've aligned your values. You've aligned your posture. You've aligned your yes, and now the shift begins. This shift is not theoretical, it is transformational. The pace of your life is about to change. The volume of revelation is about to increase. The weight of your words is about to carry more authority. What once felt like whispers in the spirit will now resound like thunder in the natural. You're not walking into influence, you're being entrusted with it. And I do not entrust lightly. I entrust what has been tested. I release what has been refined. I send those who stayed, who stood, who surrendered even when it didn't make sense. This is why the last season felt like pruning, why friendships shifted, why doors closed, why some platforms disappeared. I wasn't punishing you. I was preserving you. You weren't demoted. You were being set apart. Because what I'm about to place into your hands can't be built on compromise. It must be built on covenant. And now covenant is calling. The connections coming are covenantal, not flaky, not transactional, but holy. You will no longer have to shrink your faith to fit in. You won't have to guard your fire. I'm bringing people who don't just understand your oil, they carry oil of their own. And when you pour into one another, the overflow will shake atmospheres. This is why I've been teaching you to walk in rhythms of grace. Because where I'm taking you, burnout can't go. Performance can't go. Insecurity can't go. You'll need clarity of calling, not chaos of comparison. You'll need rest, not rush, wisdom, not weariness. You are stepping into divine precision, not religious routine. So lift your eyes now. Look again. See with fresh vision. Hear with spiritual ears. What you once labeled as delay, I am now unveiling as design. What felt like wilderness was actually worship training. What felt like hiddenness was actually heavenly strategy, and it's time. Time to speak again. Time to lead again. Time to write again. Time to build again. Time to believe again. Not just in what I've said, but in who I've called you to be. You are not behind. You are not disqualified. You are not an afterthought. You are the evidence that I still use the unexpected, that I still call the overlooked, that I still anoint the yielded. Step forward, with boldness, with joy, with clarity, with honor. Because you are not entering a season, you're entering fulfillment. And fulfillment is not what you thought. It's not busy, it's not loud, it's not exhausting. It's holy, it's fruitful, it's precise, it's peace. But don't confuse fulfillment with finality. What is opening before you is not the conclusion, it's the foundation. You are stepping into a space where I can build with you at scale, where every yes becomes seed, every step becomes strategy, every prayer becomes power. You will not be running in circles, you will be moving in purpose. Expect opposition? Yes. But don't internalize it. The warfare you face now is not about who you were, it's about who you're becoming. Don't take it personally, take it prophetically. The shaking is a sign, the pressure is proof. The resistance reveals the weight of what you're carrying. And you, beloved, are carrying breakthrough. Breakthrough for your generation, breakthrough for your family line, breakthrough for your city, your region, your bloodline. You are a forerunner, one who clears the path so others can run with freedom. Your intercession is not just protective, it's generational. Your praise is not just a sound, it's a weapon. Your presence is not just comforting, it's catalytic. That's why you felt the isolation, the weight, the silence. Because you weren't just being prepared, you were being positioned. Not everyone can go where you're going. And that's not rejection, it's refinement. I am expanding your tent pegs, enlarging your influence, deepening your wells, strengthening your voice. Your reach is increasing. Your words are resonating. And it's not hype, it's holy, it's not manufactured, it's mantled. What you carry now is fire-tested and Father-trusted. So protect your gates, watch what you allow in this season, guard your heart, steward your mind. Let no idle word settle in your spirit. Feed on my word daily. Drink from my presence deeply. Keep your rhythm sacred. Keep your focus sharp. You've come too far to be distracted, too deep to be shallow, too awakened to fall asleep again. Stay the course, because only the chosen stay. This is your sealing moment, not just a conclusion, but a coronation. You are stepping into the reality of everything I have spoken over your life, not as a theory to consider, but as a truth to embody. You are no longer asking, will it happen? You are now living in the answer. It is happening. You have become the evidence of my promises fulfilled. Every step, every tear, every battle that felt like it might break you was actually forming you for this. You were not just surviving, you were being prepared to reign, and not with earthly titles or applause, but with spiritual authority and divine rest. Because those who carry my presence deeply will always rule differently. Their power comes not from platforms, but from presence. That is why I am inviting you now to live from rest, not reaction. To walk in rhythm, not rush. To release out of overflow, not obligation. The work I have for you is great, but my yoke is easy and my burden is light. You are not being driven, you are being drawn. You are not hustling to prove, you are abiding to produce. The legacy I've placed within you cannot be measured by what others see. It's measured by what I've sealed. and I have sealed you with my Spirit, not as a visitation, but as a habitation. You are my dwelling place, you are my reflection, you are my messenger. This generation doesn't need more noise, it needs purity. It needs those who don't just quote me, but carry me, who don't just preach power, but live with peace. That's why I've purified you. That's why I've slowed you down. That's why I've deepened your hunger. You will lead differently now, with compassion, not control, with wisdom, not performance, with consistency, not chaos. Because the weight I'm placing on your life is holy. It must be stewarded, not shown off. It must be protected, not paraded. You are a vessel, not a brand. And now I am establishing you as a pillar, immovable, enduring, steady, not just in private, but in public. Not just in prayer, but in presence. Your lifestyle is becoming a sermon. Your surrender is becoming a standard. What I formed in the dark is now about to shine in the light, not for fame, but for fruit. You'll begin to see it manifest in conversations that carry weight, in rooms where silence speaks louder than sound, in moments where your presence brings peace before you say a word, in decisions where discernment will guide you more than data ever could. Every part of your life will now become an extension of the altar. Your thoughts, your actions, your relationships. You will no longer compartmentalize the sacred. You will walk in continuous communion. I will be with you at every table, in every hallway, in every decision. You will begin to notice my whisper interrupting even the most ordinary moments. And as you continue in this intimacy, I will entrust you with more. Not just responsibilities, but revelation. You will begin to know what others only guess. You will discern atmospheres, sense misalignments, release solutions. I will anoint your words with weight. I will give you authority to displace darkness, not with volume, but with presence. People will ask, "How did you get here?" And you will answer, "I stayed." And that staying will mark you. That consistency will distinguish you. Not perfection, but faithfulness. Not endless output, but rooted obedience. For the world does not need another performance. It needs a person fully alive in me. So go now, not to build a platform, but to establish a presence. Not to gather followers, but to make disciples. Not to seek approval, but to walk in alignment. You've already been approved. You've already been affirmed. I called you. I equipped you. I trusted you. This is not a conclusion. It's a new beginning. This is where legacy starts. This is where history changes. This is where generations will remember that someone said yes, someone stayed, someone finished, and that someone is you. This video delivers a prophetic word of encouragement, spiritual awakening, and divine commissioning. It speaks directly to those who feel isolated, weary, or forgotten, reminding them that their endurance has marked them as chosen. Through an intimate and spirit-led voice, the message guides listeners into deeper surrender, renewed identity, and alignment with God's timing. Themes include refinement through fire, restoration of spiritual authority, rhythms of grace, and supernatural manifestation of long-awaited promises. It concludes with an urgent call to live out faith with action and intimacy. Thank you for joining us today on Heaven Voice Today. If this message touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And remember, God speaks every day. You just have to listen. Come back tomorrow for more reflections from His heart to yours. Stay blessed, stay faithful, and keep listening to the voice of heaven. See you in the next video.